hit record so I can remember to do that. Okay, so tell me, and you guys, you don't have to go on camera or anything like that. Doesn't bother me at all. How is Pinterest going now that we're at the beginning of a year? Are you like, is it going good? You're like, I'm seeing an uptake, or you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Where are we at?
I don't know how to I know how to make pins, and I haven't done any. I have not touched it this year, and I
Okay,
want to touch it.
girl, you gotta touch it. Okay, so Teresa's saying she saw a dip in traffic with January. Um, Teresa, can you do me a favor and put a link to one of your pins in the comments and we'll take a look at it to kind of see if we can diagnose it a little bit. So I did see in a couple of clients, we saw a little bit of a dip the 1st of January. I think we were coming off some seasonal stuff. So like I had pinned a lot of Christmas, a lot of like fall, Halloween, winter. And so some of that'll start to drip off, especially like January ish. Um, so you have to just kind of take that. Like Pinterest is like this. Everybody wants Pinterest to be like this, and it never comes down. And that's just not Pinterest. Like it's just like blogging. Like it kind of ups and downs and does all of this stuff. Um, I'm going to show you some pins that are getting really pretty good results at the moment. And I made these up so they're not actual client ones, just because I didn't want to do. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Okay, so some of the things I'm seeing, and I'm gonna kind of go over like food, travel. That's typically who I get. When you put like how long is that recipe? Here's what I'm seeing with a lot of food bloggers. Some of the gurus out there are teaching use AI. Doesn't matter if the recipe doesn't work. People are getting mad. They're leaving nasty comments when either the recipe takes an hour to make, like they want quick, easy, cheap, budget friendly is what they want for recipes. So if you can put how long does that take? Like you can see here, I added with pizza dough. This is an actual client pin. Because people are like, oh, I have pizza dough, or I have, pepperoni and I have pizza dough. Okay, great. And it's only gonna take me 30 minutes. That looks pretty easy. Okay, there's dinner. So I'm noticing though when I've put how long it's taken and if it's especially like 30 minutes or less, that those pins are getting a lot of clicks. So that's always a good thing just to kind of be aware of. Um, I think people are just getting a little grumpy with Pinterest because they're seeing a lot of AI. They're seeing a lot of things that they get on there and it says, oh, it only takes 5 hours to make this. Nobody's got time for that. Nobody. So, kind of doing that. The other thing that I will put on here, like this is one like easy dinner ideas. Okay, so like that's the actual keyword, but then I'll put beef, chicken, pork because in that roundup there's beef, chicken, pork. Okay, so don't lie. Like if there's no chicken, don't put chicken. But if you can mix those up, if you're doing roundups, and roundups are doing really well as far as posts. Um, these days of writing a 2,000, 1,000 word post are really over. Like they want more photos, less words. So kind of think about that as you're writing posts. Like they want to see it. This format here, where I put either a photo at the top or a big photo at the bottom with a couple little ones with a white background, gets a ton more traffic. Like this whole collagey looking thing. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know. Zoom just quit. Like just flat out quit. Um, okay, so let me go back here for just a second. Hopefully the other one can jump back on. Hopefully Laura can jump back on. Let me go back here. Okay, if it does it again, then I will try doing it from my mobile. Okay, so like I was saying, doing a collage like this where it's really got a white background, super easy, um, is working really, really well. It's amazing the difference of like it's getting there faster. You still got to have the right keyword, but they're doing really well. If you're in the travel niche, then doing, you can see here, it's kind of the same. It's 3 photos. You've got your keyword, but what I found is what people are looking for is like, what are the best hotels, food, activities? Like they're trying to plan an entire trip. They don't want just a keyword of Lubbock, Texas. Like they want to know, where do I stay? Where are some restaurants that you recommend? And what are some activities? We've gotten way more visual. Um, I think it's people in general. So just a thought there. If you're in the DIY home, I tried to think of like home DIY. Some of what I'm seeing is like if you take your keyword and then give them a price. Like, so like 10 items under $20. And that doesn't always work. But if you have a ton of that content where it's like, these are kind of inexpensive. I don't use the word inexpensive. I don't use the word cheap. But to say like, okay, these are 10 storage items under $20. It just puts you above the competition. So super helpful to do that. Um, so that seems to be what's working. Those are getting a lot more, just kind of those ideas. Like I said, I didn't use specific client because I don't want y'all stealing them. No, just kidding. Not gonna steal them. Okay, so let's look at this pen. Okay, so what I try to do with pins is you need to either put the photos below or do the collage or put it above. Well, really your words need to go above, but they need to go up here, that safety line of Canva where it does like the little lines that say you're going to be out of bounds. This is honestly really hard to read. If they're on mobile, the whole bottom part, they can't even read. So I don't put any words on the very bottom. So let's take a look here. Let me show you guys how I line cupcake. Okay, so if I click lime poke cake, it's gonna be slow with Zoom. So the thing I'm looking for is how many people have those keywords. So you've got lime poke cake. That one's got one in the middle, but it's still kind of that same look. Key lime poke cake. You've still got lime poke cake, lime poke cake. So here's the problem with that is it's really hard to get to those first 2 lines when everybody's using the same keyword. Like it's just darn near impossible. So what you can do is go in here Um, Teresa, is it using Jello? I'm assuming so. Is it using Jello? Yes. Okay. I'm assuming you said yes. So you could take this keyword, lime Jello poke cake recipe. So you've got lime Jello poke cake, but they've not added the word recipe. So like this would be a better keyword to put on there. The other thing you want to look at is everybody's got this on a plate. Everybody. It's all one piece of cake on a plate. So how can you change that? Okay, you could do a pan full of it. You could put it on a cake stand. You could, the other thing I see with food bloggers all the time is they use white plates. If you've got a green poke cake, what about a green plate? What about putting it on a cake? Like, what about putting a few pieces on a cake stand? Like, you've got to look at what is your competition doing? What the heck? Let's go back in here. Hold on. Hold on, ladies. Hold on. Let's go back in here. Let's do lime poke cake. So let's do lime poke cake recipe. So you can see the cake is front and center. Everybody's got limes dressed up all around it because it's so pretty. So if you took a cake stand and put a couple of pieces, like that would make it stand out. Everybody's also using the green background with the white lettering or the white background with the green lettering. Like you've got to make this stand out. You've got to put a call to action. How long does it take to make it? How many ingredients does it have? Like if you've got a box cake mix, jello, and maybe like, is it only 3 ingredients? Like I would put that as the call to action. They want really simple. This looks a little, for somebody maybe who's looking for a really quick dessert, is it quick and easy? But you've got to be able to make it stand out. Does that make sense, Teresa? Maybe having questions on that because I know everybody that gets makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Food blogging, like you have to stand out. You can see here, everybody's got a darn white plate. 1, 2, 3, the top 3, 4 have white plates. I would get a different color plate that matches the look of it, but makes it stand out. So that's just my thoughts. Oh, Carrie, you're good. Carrie said, you just got here. No biggie. Um, okay, what other questions? The other thing working really well on Pinterest at this moment is a brand awareness ad. Who was it? Teresa said she's saw a dip in January. So I've been testing brand awareness ads. I now have them on 5 accounts because they're doing that well. It's not so you run an ad for a specific pin, but it doesn't drive traffic to that specific pin. It drives traffic to your Pinterest account. So I'm seeing just doing that, like it's a 30-40% increase in overall outbound clicks. So, and I'm doing it for like $2.50 a day. It's not like Facebook, I have to run typically $4 to $5 to get it to get traction. On Pinterest, you can do a brand awareness ad for $2.50 a day. You could probably even go as low as $2. It may be questionable what results you're going to get, but being able to run that, then like you're going to see an overall increase. of just outbound clicks. I will tell you, test it. Like you've got to find the pin that makes them want to stop the scroll. The other thing I'm doing on brand awareness ads is instead of the long pin, I'm doing a like a rectangle pin. So it looks completely different. So they're not just scrolling through and it looks like every other pin, like it literally looks like it stops the scroll. So it's just a fun way to figure that out. But that's helped. I think sometimes you're just going to get dips. I think you got to make sure you're using the right keywords, standing out, and that you're doing to your boards on and off. Carrie, you have a question? Oh, no. Okay. But that's working really well right now. So I think in 2025, I'd really focus on those keywords, like coming in here. I mean, this is my exact process. Like if I'm looking for somebody give me a somebody give me a keyword that you want looked up. And like let's do a few of these so you guys are really good at knowing. I mean, I can just make one up, but it's easy. It's better if we can do it. Sheet pan chicken. Okay. Give me a hard one, girl. How many sheet pan recipes are out there? Okay. So we're going to start with sheet pan chicken. And then you can do any of these. So sheet pan chicken fajitas with potatoes, thighs, sausage and veggies, like any of these could be keywords. I always ask myself, what are they looking for? So maybe they're looking for healthy because January, everybody's trying to be healthy. So because this healthy was in the black, I can move that to the front of that. Sorry, y'all, that's my heater if you hear it. I live in a tiny house and that's loud. I really would try healthy sheet pan chicken dinners. Let's see if we get what we get on those. Okay, so that would be the keyword I would use because you can see here, nothing at the none of these guys are using those exact keywords. I want you guys to take a look at what I'm seeing though. How many photos can we get on a darn pin? Here's the problem. On mobile, they can't see all of those little bitty, they can't they can't see all those photos at all. Like of this one up here. Here's the other thing when you're saying there's 34 of them, you lose them because it's overwhelmed. It's just flat out overwhelmed to them. So I would do the collage that I showed before where it's got one and then maybe two small ones. And then I would use this exact keyword. And then my call to action would be how long on average does it take to make them? Is it 30 minutes? Is it if your whole site is healthy? I did a strategy the other day with somebody. We put the amount of protein on average. So we put in the call to action 30 grams of protein on average because their audience is healthy. Like they're looking specifically for high protein, low carb ideas. So does that make sense? Like you've got to go in and really kind of do a little bit of research. I mean, you could do, let's look at, see if I take healthy off. So you could even do sheet pan dinners with chicken. Sometimes it's just changing the words. You can see here, nobody's using that. They're all using the same. They all look the same. They all look messy with a bunch of photos. So I would just clean that up and then figure out and I like you see how this one is really kind of on that second line if you take off the ads. That's because they chose one. They cleaned it up. They've still got sheet pan dinner in there, but they're not overwhelming them. So people are clicking this and it's taking it to the top because it's not overwhelming them. Okay, let's see the question. Over 15, I think if you're doing, so I try to keep roundups at 10 or less. If you're on MSN Start, I've got a site on MSN Start. I have to do 10. Um, but I have a cross stitch one that I only do 5 because they can't cross stitch 10 even in a month. Um, yeah, so Teresa, there is a couple of Facebook groups. What's the name of that? They're called roundups or some they're called roundups. There's a ton. You wouldn't even have to go in there and ask. You could just go in there and type in, like if you're doing sheet pan dinner, then do sheet pan chicken. And I mean, literally, you would have a ton of people with sheet pan recipes. So think about your person. Like, y'all, they're after dinner. They're not after trying to figure out of 34 what they're gonna make. Like, they need something super quick and easy. Like that confuses the heck out of them. Okay, let's see. Travel toys for kids. Carrie's making me think right now. I love doing this stuff. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so we've got travel toys for kids. We've got travel toys for kids road trips. So you could even do it by the age. You got best kids travel toys. Anytime you can use the word best, that's what somebody's wanting. Like, the other thing that works really well is budget friendly. So that, like, you did best kids travel toys, nobody's using that keyword. Everybody's using a variety of it. Actually, it's kind of interesting when I look at this. Like, this is a gold mine one because you've got travel toys, you've got activity pack for planes. Like, you've got stuff in here. When I see a lot of advertisements, it tells me that Pinterest doesn't have enough pins. So they're having to put ads to fill up the board. So that's always a good one to do. And then I would just make sure, like if it's for a plane, then I'd make sure that you've got a kid on a plane. If it's for a car, that it's, a car, like you've got a car look in there. And then again, my call to action would be something like 10 toys under $20 or whatever the price range is. 10 budget friendly toys because budget friendly is different for everybody depending on their income. So it could just be anything like that. That's a fun one. Okay, what other,
Thank you.
yeah, does that help? Okay, what other questions do y'all have? What else do you want me to look up? I saw a question in a group I'm in, and I won't name it because I'm not going to. How many pins should you be doing daily? So that is based upon how many blog posts do you have? Like that's not a you need 10 per day. I find that 3 or 4 does really well as long as the keywords are really good. And as long as you're standing out in front of competition. 3 or 4. Like you don't have to be crazy with it. So I don't think that you need to be doing 10, 20. You really need to be the only thing, like, you need to be careful pinning the same URL again and again and again, like multiple times per month, because that will get you marked as spam in Pinterest. So like the other question I saw in a group was, I want to create 30 pins. They all go to the same URL. Can I just pin them to different boards? No. Well, you can, but don't be surprised when Pinterest, like, your account gets killed. Having multiple accounts doesn't do you any good to build it up. It just doesn't. Concentrate on one and really take a look. Like, I've got a video on boards. Like, go in this year and clean up your boards. If you haven't pinned to them in a month, you either don't have anything really to put underneath them, or you need to come up with a system to know how to organize everything. Like, and that's kind of where I come in and help, is you need to get all of that organized and come up with a system that works for you. Just because. Am I deleting board? Ever, 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 can I say ever enough? Delete a board. Okay. You want to go in and make it secret, or whatever they're calling it right now. But you don't ever want to delete a board. When you delete a board, any pins that are under that board disappear. They're gone forever. So if you happen to have a really old pin that's doing well and it's in a board, and because that happens, how many of us have old pins that are doing really well? Yeah. I get that question all the time. Connie, it's the ugliest pin. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's got a good keyword or something, or it's just Pinterest is a time, like, everybody wants quick results in Pinterest, and that is not how it works. It's not. Like, you can do it quicker by having great keywords and having really clean looking pins that stand out, but it still takes time. Like, you're doing what you're doing now so that a year from now, 2 years from now, that pin is still performing. Like, it just has to be, versus I'm going to get this up here and it's going to do really well right this second. It may not. And there's no rhyme or reason. If somebody knows why a pin does really well, I'd love to know. I have some that I think will do really well and they don't. And I have some that I'm like, oh, I don't know. And they do really well. So there's no rhyme or reason to Pinterest. You just have to be consistent, and you have to just keep going. Like, you have to keep going and making sure your keywords and everything are really good. Let's see. Oh, okay. Any other questions? I do have a couple of videos on how do I organize all of this stuff. And then on boards. I'm working on a couple other videos. Somebody had a question. What was it?
Me. You had said, and I am like so new to Pinterest. So, I mean, like, really, this is very helpful for me because I know nothing about Pinterest. I know how to make a pin. And
Oh, Mary Jane, at least you know how to make a pin.
Hey, we got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But you had said earlier on the video that something was really good. It was brand, did you say brand awareness?
Yeah, it's a brand awareness ad.
Oh,
So
it's a paid ad.
it's a paid ad. Yeah, I'm paying $2.50 a day on that account.
Could I
So
see could I see an example of that?
no,
Oh, okay. All
I,
right.
I'm gonna say no on that one just because I try not to. And honestly, that's something. So when you do a brand awareness ad, like Pinterest will say, "Here, we can manually do it for you." That's the worst decision to make. Like,
That's good to know. Yeah.
no. Like you really have to be able to go in there and set it up properly.
Mhm.
Like it looks really no, it does. Well, mine do look different. Um, it
I
really
think
looks like a pin that's a square. Like the
okay.
pictures on one side, the keywords on the other side. But what it does is instead of it's the same width of a pin, but it's just half.
Yeah, I've seen them, I think. And the thing is, I think what I'm asking is probably, advanced Pinterest strategies versus like total beginner strategies.
Which is okay.
Because
I
I mean,
just don't like, and I'll tell you why. And I mean, I'll tell you guys why I don't. I like the account I'm in right now is mine. I don't ever show you guys client accounts because
mhm.
I don't ever want somebody copying. But I've literally had people go in and copy, like, and I just like I have to protect. I have to protect my business.
No,
Uh,
you do. You have to protect your clients.
I have to protect my client. I don't ever show client stuff um, in like open meetings or even if I do a YouTube video because that's not that. Yeah, no, and they probably wouldn't care, but I care.
No,
Um,
you do. That's just being ethical. So don't
but
you don't
I also, when I
fine.
do a YouTube video, like I cover up my Pinterest account name just because I'll literally have had people copy,
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
sad as that is. And I'm like, I mean, why? I don't like go do your own thing. I mean, you could copy. You don't know behind the scenes how that pin's even doing.
Mhm.
Like I hear a lot of people, like I see it a lot of times in groups where gurus, speakers, whoever are saying, I get a million monthly views. Y'all, that don't mean nothing. It means
Mhm.
absolutely zero on Pinterest. Like I had somebody the other day that was like, I think I want some help. And I'm like, okay, but what are your outbound clicks?
Mhm.
Like, and they couldn't tell me. And I'm like, okay, like I don't care what your monthly views are. I mean, I'll give you an example. I have a site that gets 1.3 million monthly views. I get about 40,000 outbound clicks. Like that's a huge discrepancy. That's not even close. So, like you'll see people trying to sell stuff or sell whatever, and they'll be like, well, you can get, X impressions. Impressions don't mean anything. The only two numbers I look at in my analytics is outbound clicks and saves.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
I don't care about anything else. The only thing Mediavine cares about is outbound clicks. That's it.
Mhm.
That's what brings in the money. So,
Mhm.
we can get really into, all the different stuff. Like it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
So now I will show more if somebody does a strategy session with me. Like, I mean, we set up a,
No, that's my goal. And this is very, very helpful because Pinterest, I need to diversify my income. And people's been saying Pinterest, and I've been just saying I played with it and probably did everything wrong.
probably. You wouldn't be alone in it though. So majority of the time, I don't know how many of y'all are on Mediavine. Um, when I have a client that does a strategy session and they're on Mediavine, I ask them to look at their Mediavine dashboard because Mediavine divides it up by RPM. So they'll show
Yeah.
you. So like I had one yesterday that I'm working on her strategy. And like, so here's like the difference. In her Mediavine dashboard, Um, Google pays like $18 a RPM.
Mhm.
Pinterest pays 38. The traffic from Pinterest is at 38.
Wow. 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 Wow.
I
Okay,
mean,
that's
and
like
that's
a little
been
bit.
a low one, like it's interesting because Mediavine, especially if you're on Mediavine, like their dashboard will show you exactly the RPMs. So when
Mhm.
I come in, I'm like, okay, if this is where you're getting the most money from, like she
Mhm.
needs to work on her Pinterest
Mhm.
because honestly, it needs some help. It needs some love.
Mhm.
So once we get that up, then her income is naturally going to go up. I have found over the past, well, since HCU, the RPMs for Google suck. They just suck. Like, I think Mediavine's just punishing, like punishing Google, which, in turn, unfortunately, punishes. So that's why I'm all for diversifying. I have some right now that are doing really well on YouTube. Like, I get a ton of traffic from YouTube by doing some simple
Okay.
videos, super simple. Like y'all would be like, oh my gosh, you really get traffic? Yeah, I do from that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do. But
People want to.
The RPMs are higher. So you got to know, like you got to be able to go into your dashboards in Google and Mediavine or whatever you're looking at. And if you don't have Mediavine, then because right now I've got Journey on all three of mine, and they're really close to Mediavine. I'm just waiting on them to approve. But I can tell from just looking at and that dashboard, it's horrible, but I can see like which one made me the most. I know where I posted it. Majority of the time, it's not Facebook, and it's not. I don't hardly get any traffic from Google. I don't even worry about it. That's like icing on the cake if I do. So, but if you have email, all three of my sites get a ton of email traffic. So that pays a higher RPM.
Mhm.
So you just got to be able to look at that data and be like, here's where I focus. Because how many get overwhelmed? Like you got TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and email and writing posts and Pinterest. Like, there's no way you can do all of that.
Mhm.
No way. Like,
No,
unless
because
you,
you said on the group, it was very, very good because like I built up my blog just totally on and I got into Journey just totally on Google. And now for 2025, it's like I have to diversify my traffic. I have to. And Google's been good to me.
and
I mean,
and
I'm greedy,
and
but
that's where, so I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it nice. I had been telling clients before HCU, you need to diversify the traffic. You need to
yes,
diversify your traffic. You need to diversify your traffic
yes.
because something in my gut was saying this is gonna fall apart. Every update, we were seeing people drop off quick, and I'm like, oh, just send more emails, just build up the Pinterest, like figure out, what that is because I don't think, and this is just one girl's opinion, I think we're always going to see updates from Google. I think that I think, you might do really well right now with Google, but if all your eggs are in Google's basket, like I've literally had people come to me that are like, everything was in Google.
Mhm.
And y'all, it takes 4 to 6 months to build up the other platforms, especially when you have no income coming in and you're trying to do it organically. Like I would tell you, don't put your eggs all in Google.
No, I know I need to because I spent a lot of time building my blog. So it's like now the time now I need to yes, create more content, but also figure out how to get into other, diversify my income stream, more so than building content. You gotta have content. I have a ton of content. Okay, so now I need Pinterest. I'm trying to get into YouTube. I need a new phone because my phone won't take videos like it's supposed to. So I have all these ideas. It's just, getting there. And so that's why it's like and Pinterest is a total mystery to me. And when you say system, it's like, yes, yes, I need system.
Fun part
I
of
need
it though
system.
when you can get a system, I read somebody's comment in my group the other day. Like when we did her first strategy, she was at like maybe 500 clicks per month. And now she's at 15,000. And I'm like, yes, that's strategy. She also did the work. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome. Like do the work, like and you can recover. I have clients right now that are recovering from HCU,
Mhm.
but we're doing it in different places.
Mhm.
Like I do their Pinterest and we're doing it there, but Pinterest is not an overnight. I don't, if somebody tells you that, run.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If they're like pin 30 times a day, run, run. I was
I-
watching a guru's YouTube channel and he teaches AI pin a jillion times a day and there were so many comments that were like, I did this and now my account got shut down. And there was no response. And I was like, my heart breaks for you. Like, that's not even, you did all that work. And that's where you have to be careful. I don't use some of the programs out there like Pin Generator or Pin Clicks or what, like, I don't use any of that because Pin Generator specifically, I had somebody using it and her account got shadow banned because they teach you to pin the same thing, just put in different places and do the different thing. Kind of like Tailwind. Tailwind will do the same thing if you put it in an automatic. You cannot pin the same pin to multiple boards, even over multiple months. Like that's not, um, it's not what they're wanting. It's not what your person's wanting. Like if I'm on there looking for dinner recipes, I don't want to see the same darn sheet chicken dinner that Carrie's got 15 times. I'm going to be like off. And if you're not getting saves and you're not getting clicks because they're seeing the same thing, your traffic is going to drop. It just is. Like, and it's really hard to get it back up. Not impossible, but it is very hard and it takes months.
Yeah, Teresa said she stopped using Tailwind, and I've heard about Tailwind and I've heard bad things. Anything automatic with Pinterest, it seems like they are, pushing back against the artificial stuff. They want humans to pin, they want humans to,
Yeah.
with,
It's Tailwind can absolutely be good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Tailwind if you're not automatically setting it up to do it again. But I just use even for clients, I just use the Pinterest scheduler. You can schedule up to 2 weeks. Um, it works just fine.
Mhm.
Like it's trying to just get it done in a way that works.
Mhm.
Using their Pinterest, create a pin.
All I have done when I was taught how to blog, I was told from day one, and I followed this advice. He said, every time you write a blog post, make a pin. And so I have done that. And last year I talked to, I had a Zoom call. It was a free Zoom call with a Pinterest person.
Okay, no, no,
And
no,
she,
no. Don't ever do that either.
do what?
Do a call with a Pinterest person. That's about like doing a call with a Facebook person. They don't understand the platform usually.
Okay. Well, she said I did good. But that was it. I mean, it's like, because somehow it's like she looks at my Pinterest stuff and she says, you're doing really good. And it's like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I do not know what I'm looking at. I just know that every blog post has a pin.
Yeah. I have a system where, so all of my blog posts go into a Google Doc and then I put the date and I put the pins that are going to go out. So, like for the whole week, like I'll do a whole week at a time. And then I take that Canva template and I make a template. So
Mhm.
then a year from now, I can readjust, I can adjust, put a different photo, put a different keyword, whatever that is, or however long it is. Um, I just organize it a little bit different. But I also use the same stuff so like taking your blog post and putting it on social, putting it on Pinterest, putting it in email, like reuse that stuff because not everybody's on every place.
Mhm.
So then you're not trying to like find all of the stuff. You're just like okay, here's the stuff. And I just have the pins. I'll copy, I'll recreate them, make them look a little bit different. I play around a lot with them. Like I test a lot of stuff. I don't ever tell y'all anything that's working unless I have tested it for a couple months.
Well,
Like
that's wonderful.
I don't want to be like my brand awareness ads have been running since November
Hmm.
and they're still running.
Hmm.
So, like I'm not gonna do it and then be like, oh, that worked for a day. Awesome. Let me
Hmm.
do a
Hmm.
course. No, it's not who I am. So, any other questions? Katrina, you've been really quiet. Do you have any questions? No questions? If you're not in my group, that's a good place to be. I'm gonna try to do these once a month, but in the meantime, if you have questions, you can ask in my group. Um, I'm not at this point going to do any sort of membership or anything like that, just because I'm running 3 blogs and clients, and I don't know that I have time to do all of that. So, um, but you can always ask questions, especially in my group. I typically pick one day a week to kind of go in and answer questions, when I get a moment. Um, any other questions? Carrie, you keep coming off and coming on, coming off, coming on.
So sorry, I'm on my phone and I have no idea how to use this when it's on my phone.
Yeah, I can't
And
do it
I'm
on my
like
phone.
swiping. I'm like,
There's so
where
many
are
buttons on the phone. I'm like, find it on.
I
I
am
can't do
like, I feel like a real granny now, and I'm like, I just can't find anything. So I just wanted to say thank you. I know I hopped in very late, and
Oh, you're good.
but just
Yeah.
thank you. What I, just I've been very slow on the Pinterest game, and I was doing the same, just writing a post, chucking out a pin, and I've neglected Pinterest for so long. But what you were saying there about the RPM is just insane. And
Well, I've
obviously,
I've seen it on 5 different accounts. Like I've done strategy calls with 5 people and had them pull their media buying. Every single one of them, Pinterest is at least $20 higher on RPM.
that's insane. I mean,
Sometimes more.
I need to change something because obviously what I'm still trying to grind out the blog posts and recover. It's just not happening. So at the moment, but I have sold 3 copies of my book this month.
Oh,
Woohoo!
that's awesome.
To the US. So
Carrie
it's
did
not
a
even a
really
friend.
fun book on activities for kids, like on the plane and stuff. It's a really great book. It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, and it sold
Amazon.
3 copies this month to the US. So I was like, yay, they're not even my friends in the UK. They're not, they're not people I know. They're actual proper people that bought it.
Isn't that
So,
awesome? That's
but I
awesome.
thought, yeah, I need to do that. I need to get better with Pinterest, and I think you're just giving me the motivation. So thanks, Teresa. I just think that thank you for your time. More importantly,
Yeah.
because I know how valuable that is.
Somebody had
So
the
thank you.
question. I forgot about this question, so I'll answer it right quick. If you've got, and Carrie made me think of it because she's got like an Amazon product. If you have Etsy products, Amazon products, trying to put a pin and send that directly to Amazon or Etsy does not work well. Just I've tested it because I have cross stitch patterns, I have crochet patterns, I have sewing patterns. They do not do well if you send them directly to Etsy or Amazon. When you do a roundup or it's in a post of some sort, then they do better. Like you can test it, and I know you see all of the Etsy. I think that's coming from Etsy. I think Etsy and Pinterest have a agreement because if you go to the Etsy Pinterest account, like they have over 2 million pins and they're all like shoppable pins. But I think because that is it's their website, then they can claim that website. We can't claim our Etsy store or our Amazon store. Like we can't do it. So or I haven't figured out how to do it. I've tested it. I've even run ads. They flopped. So not where I put it in a post, do a roundup, and then get the sales that way versus trying to do it direct. Even right now on Facebook, I was talking to a gal the other day who has like a digital product. They're hard right now on Facebook. There's just a lot of competition. I mean, how many like you look at Facebook and you're like, how many ads, especially on Instagram lately, like how many ads can I see? Like, geez, Louise. And it just becomes noise. Like maybe you have a good product, but man, it's noisy out there. Build a community, put it in email, you'll sell a ton more. Like you'll sell a ton more. So if you have an Etsy store, sign up for the affiliate. They have an amazing affiliate on Etsy. And all you need is an Etsy store. It could have 3 things in it. But they do look at your website to see if you're active. But like I make a good chunk from Etsy every day on affiliates. So worth looking at. So, but that's kind of where I dive. Like when I look at somebody's website, like I dive into each little aspect of it. It's fun. It's just fun. Probably like that does not sound like fun. It is. Print on demand, absolutely. But I think that it goes back to I think you got to do roundups. I think doing just print on demand and send them to that is really hard. So I would do some blog roundups, and it doesn't have to be many. Like you could do 5. I don't know what specifically you sell. Like let's say 5 t-shirts that are print on demand, like 5 Mother's Day t-shirts. Like send them to that. And it can all be your own product, but I think it needs to be a roundup because I'm just not seeing, I just tried it and it doesn't seem to work. Now, if somebody figures it out, let me know. I mean, it could work and I'm just not doing it right. I don't know. Um, okay. I think I answered everybody's questions. Like I said, I will try to do this monthly. That's my goal. Um, and we'll just go from there. I'm gonna I'm gonna stop recording just for a second.